right, hey, good morning, folks. We're going to do some artwork today. We're working on an Eberron adventure for Dungeons & Dragons using 5th edition 2024 rules. Give me a second here to check in on my signal, make sure everything's coming through clearly, and then we're going to check in on my signal, make sure everything's good. Yeah, that's really rich. Good. There was a problem for a little bit with OBS and Blue Yeti microphones, but that seems to have resolved itself. I'm going to click here. We're going to do quick social updates. Just to keep you distracted while I press a few more buttons. My name is Phil Kearney. Hey, what's up? I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online, and I create content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I publish it on DMsGuild. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. And I've been creating content on DMsGuild since 2018. But Eberron has been my campaign setting of choice since 2004. But I've never actually created any content for Dungeons & Dragons. So I want to correct that. Give me a second here to... Almost there. Stay on target. Hold on. You need copy here and then paste. There we go. Okay, great. That's all done. I stream 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning like this. We're doing artwork, and then Mondays and Thursday nights, Tuesday and Friday lunches, we do game design, where we build the books that we eventually illustrate. If you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. And if you're interested in D&D, here's a bunch of books I've created for Dungeons & Dragons that are on DMsGuild.com. They all have free preview. You are certainly welcome to check those out. And if you think that stuff is neat, be welcome to join my Discord channel. Ask me any questions. We're going to get to work. So this is the book cover that we made. And here's the current piece that we're working on. Let's see. Check. Let me get my screen arranged here. There. Okay, great. So here is the piece that we're working on right now. We use Bob Ross style art to create mountains and trees and the sky. And right now we're working on Atur Academy. Atur Academy is a necromancy academy in the city of Atur in Corvair. This map of Atur in general was created by Casa Stereo, Instagram Casa Stereo 89, Patreon Casa Stereo. They've been making Eberron cartography for years, and as best I can tell, this is the only reference that we have for what Atur Academy is at all. So I'm using this as our format for the building that we're creating here. You can see we're getting the basic form of it built here. This is episode 10 of us making this painting. If I had, I spent maybe 3 episodes on poor architecture, so we're going back and we're fixing the mistakes of the architecture that we had previously to sally forth into making it correct. Tower. I don't know. Oh boy, this would increase the challenge. I'm thinking of having it not be just flat symmetrical facing the camera. It's easy to do perfect symmetry when I have it facing 100% square on with the camera, but it looks, flat. So my brain keeps triggering and saying, well, why don't you do it at an angle? And I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, you should do it at an angle. I'm like, God damn it, Muse. This is supposed to be a simple project, but it keeps getting more complicated. She says, but isn't that just the way? And I think the Muse enjoys the frustration that I get from the ideas that she has and how willing I am to go along with them. But I'm currently thinking something like more like this. And then we'd have this tower back here would be like here. And then this one would be more like, well, it'd be like behind. Like that. I don't know. Muse is playing. I'm going to let her play. That's what she gets to do. That's the rules. All right, go like... Go like that. I know, right? There's that song clicking, and where do we go from here, right? Bless your face. Maybe we go to here from here. We're just gonna fuck around and find out. Cause that's what we do around here. Oh boy, this is gonna increase the quality, the difficulty of the challenge for sure. I need a third color. Let's go with this one. I don't see any color, so I have to use my color references from photos. That's why I'm always, well, I mean, that got me on the train. Let's have this conversation. There is a lot of confusion on Reddit in general about artists using references when they're creating art, and I used to have this problem as well, thinking that if I used references, I'm a bad artist. So that's not true. You need references to get shit right, and I was quickly humbled into that fact, because if I don't use references, I absolutely get the artwork wrong. Where are you coming in from here, buddy? Hold on. Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Because I can't see any color, I have to use color references. It was a really great way to humble me quickly about what is real and what isn't real. The most recent analogy I had was like this: if you've never seen a basketball before, how are you supposed to draw a basketball? You have to see one so you know what the fuck it is. So if you had a photographic memory and you saw a basketball, you would forever have a permanent, perfect image of that basketball in your mind that you would be referencing every time that you remember what that basketball is. But most of us don't have photographic memory. Luckily, the term photographic memory came from fucking photos. So you can use that photo to remember what a basketball looks like as a reference when you're trying to draw a basketball. There is nothing wrong with using references to remember what something looks like instead of pretending you know what something looks like and being completely wrong. So that's my TED Talk. Thanks for showing up. There's no reason to feel guilty about using references when it's something that you don't know what it looks like. But there is serious concern that I am a bad artist if I don't know all of these things. I haven't internalized it. This is called a reference library, an internal reference library. I have consumed hundreds of hours of fantasy fiction, like TV shows, movies, animations. I have read probably over 100 books. I don't know exactly, maybe scores of fantasy novels. I've got a pretty good idea of what a description of like a tower would be, for instance. Seen hundreds of towers in illustrations and artwork online, read about towers in scores of books, seen towers in movies. I've got a decent internal library of what a tower looks like. But if I'd never seen one before, how the hell am I supposed to draw a tower? So that's that internal library is a is basically a lexicon of things that you have found interesting. So as you're, you know what, I could probably just make this flat to make that easier to jive. Yeah, that makes life a lot easier, and I could go back and add complexity to the shape of this as I go. So I think I'm going to leave that be. I think I'm starting to like this curved idea. Oh, I hate myself for liking this curved idea. But at the same time, I'm supposed to be challenging myself and doing just a straight on camera symmetrical. I think I'm beyond that at this point. Call me smug. Architecture is so different from Bob Ross landscapes, as Bob's stipple and smudge methods are so organic compared to the strict architecture of structure. It's a different gear. I'm trying to figure out how to use that same analogy, how to build a clutch that's going to allow me to shift gears easily and still feel like the same drive. Does that make sense? I'm not there yet. I think patterning is going to be where it's at, and hopefully I'll have an opportunity to demonstrate that. I'm not really thinking about filigree or like decals, quote unquote, while I'm going through this asymmetrical process, and I know that's going to end up biting me in the ass at some point. But this is apparently what I'm being compelled to do. Let's do that. Let's make a neat little seam underneath here. That won't be difficult to replicate over here or anything, will it? There we go, like that. Yeah, we can have, no, because it's forward facing. Okay, so looking at the map. This front tower, that's obviously an entry gate point. So what I'm doing is I'm blocking the entry with the terrain that I've made for the tree line. Which means I could potentially, hold on. Let's stay on this thread for a moment. I do not hate that. Like, that silhouette is pretty strong. It further, I mean, it's higher complexity because of the angle of the architecture, but it feels stronger, you know? I think I'm into this. Thinking things through. That's got a curve to it here that's not being reflected in this tower here. So I need to bubble this and then bubble it some more and then drop frame here. I could probably flip this symmetrically over here to line up. This isn't lining up properly though. I need to get the perspective on this right so I can get this tower and this tower in line with each other. But I think I like that. Ever-changing world. We did more. I think I like that. I can really push the silhouette. Now the structure is starting to actually look like it's part of the landscape. Kind of liking that. Sorry, I'm messing around with the silhouette right now. That really simplifies. I think that feels strong. Okay, I think this is. I think that's a yes. So let's. Yeah. Just gonna put that there. We're gonna get rid of the trees for now, so we have our structure. So, yeah, this is gonna. That's a good idea. We're making good ideas here, Kearney. You're gonna do okay. So the next thing that we need to do is get this angling right. Oh boy, this is gonna be a fucking wreck to do. There's that. There's that. That's my 20-minute timer. That timer is reminding me to touch grass, get a grip on stuff. So we didn't spend more than 20 minutes on that. That's good. It's also reminding me to take a sip of coffee and water. 1 sip coffee, 2 sips water. That keeps the dehydration and kidney stones away. Good. Just got to keep ratcheting up the difficulty, don't you, Kearney? I mean, you know, go big or go home, right? Go big or go home. What's the point? If you aren't going for gold, you know, what are you competing for? Second place? Why? here. Meh. Wait. That's where we're supposed to be. Thank you. There we go. Easy peasy. Hey, we're making architecture here. How you guys doing today? Where did I go, man? How's Mutant Masterminds coming along for you? I want to have a slight angle because of the tilts away from the camera. I'm going to have a little bigger at the base than I do at the top. I'm just using a very mild angle there. Hopefully it's the right angle. It's going to work out. This should get covered with a tower, so it probably doesn't matter that much, but I do want to make sure the angles are right. It looks pretty good. She does look pretty good. Muse knows what she's doing, man. Well done, baby. Oh, God, that feels good. Okay, cool. Don't need to worry about that for now. Right now, we're working on tower. Get that. That feels right. And again, we want to have that minor tilt. I want to get this right. Note to self, don't try to engage people in conversation unless you know they're there. Lessons learned. Let's get that. That feels pretty good. I'm doing this manually because I have no idea what this angle is supposed to actually be to drop a circle template onto it. I have no idea. So I'm just going to freehand it and hope. You can see me leaning into the screen. That means I'm concentrating a lot. There's a tension I get in my upper back as I lean in like this. It's literally applying pressure to my body as I'm trying to move through the motion of getting this angle right. And that is a stress point that I carry. So what I actually need to do is back off, zoom in, relax, and let it actually curve and flow. There. Much more relaxed. And better result. I want to have this drop in. So again, let's go to our Casa Stereo reference here to look at how that's a full circle. It's about halfway through the circle. So let's relax that curve a little bit, make it a little less sharp. I will use select tools and different digital tools, but I like to attempt it manually. And doing it manually, I think, helps the creative process of understanding where I'm at inside the piece, to understand the angles. But to an extent, this is kind of like references. Me trying to do this manually like this is kind of like trying to remember what a basketball looks like and get it right without actually looking at the reference image first. That is technically a problem, because I'm going to want to come through, I'm going to want to do the angles right to make sure the architecture is accurate, because the eye might pick up on a perspective flaw, and I don't want to give it that. But at the same time, I don't want to get exact with it, because I don't know what it's actually supposed to be. Third element here is every time that I decide not to use a digital tool to get perspective or curvature or angles correct, like perfect, I'm allowing myself the opportunity to train myself to be able to do these things manually. I don't want to be over reliant on the tools, even though the tools can do it perfectly. I personally need to be able, like, for my own sense of skill and satisfaction, I need to get good at making these angles to have this sense of perspective. Because that's a skill thing. Being able to draw a hand accurately from memory. That, to an extent, that's a skill issue. It's like if I can't get the curve on the back end of my thumb, being able to get this curve correctly when I illustrate this curve, that's a skill. Knowing that there's a curve at this thumb like that, that's a reference. So there's two levels that we're working at here when we're developing our art skill. It's being able to accurately identify or perceive what it is that we're trying to illustrate. And then there's the skill, the eye-hand coordinated skill of actually being able to duplicate that curve with my own line. Like, to be able to actually get that curve. Like, that's wrong because that's at the wrong angle. Like, being able to get the curve correct is something that I want to be able to do. So if I look at something, even if I don't have enough manual control, like dexterous control of the lines that I'm creating, it doesn't matter what reference that I have, because I'm not skilled enough to reproduce it even if I'm looking at a photo. So you have to get good with your tools, and working on perspective and curves like this is a way for you to improve your manual dexterity and your precision with the tools that you're using. Like brain surgeons going in and snipping tumors, I reckon they don't just practice when they're working on somebody's brain. There's probably some sort of app or some sort of obstacle course or something that they hit themselves with to keep working on the steadiness of their hand and the precision of them working through the telescope, like the microscope tools that they put on their face. not compelled enough to go find out, but that's an interesting research question. Like, what do brain surgeons do to increase their accuracy with the tools that they use? I have no idea. Let's do that. I think that's... I don't think it's 100% accurate. It feels more right. There, let's do that. I'm gonna cut that, paste that. I'm gonna drag that over here. Hey, what's going on? Mousify! First time checking out the stream. Love your process and explanations of your working. Hey, thanks a lot. If you haven't seen the full piece, I'm a D&D content creator. I create books and then I illustrate them. This is a 16 by 9 format. Here, I'll full screen it here for you. Let's get rid of the references first, and then we'll add the text in, and then we're gonna add in the block. So references be gone. It's a 16 by 9 format, basically. If you're looking at it on your screen, oh, I don't have my filigree. There we go. Let's get our page border. We're still working on the page border, but when this thing is finished and it publishes as a PDF document, my books don't publish. I don't see color, so I can't really. If I had to print my books, I'd have to be able to proof that the colors are accurate in the book, and that's impossible for me to do. So I'm content with just my books being digital. But that also means I don't have to worry about normal paper sizes. So this is the first time I've done this, and it's been a crazy challenge. But it's 16 by 9 format on your phone, tablet, on my screen. So this is a 17-inch wide, 10-inch tall canvas. It's a 12-point font that we're writing with. The whole thing is horizontally, it's 16 by 9, but each column of text is also 16 by 9 in a vertical orientation. So once this thing is a PDF, people can flip through it vertically, page by page, look at the composition of each page. But then for information, if they can't read the 12-point font on their phone at normal, they could flip it sideways and then read each column individually. Each column has complete thoughts. There's no hanging paragraph that ends up continuing another topic of conversation in the next column. A section might be broken up into columns, but each column is its own complete thought. So you can literally flip from column to column throughout the entire book and absorb all the intended information for that topic that's being discussed on that page. So that allows me to have large text. It's an interesting design format. I've never used this before. But when I'm playing D, like here's my Wacom tablet, and when I'm playing D&D, I have reference documents behind my DM screen, and a tablet is where that goes now. So this tablet with an adventure like this, with a large enough font to be able to read, makes it really easy for me just to be able to tool through while I'm rolling dice over here, right? So that's the idea. So when I'm building all the different pages of the adventure and doing all the different artwork, first thing we do is we design the product, the adventure, the topic of conversation, whatever. In this case, it's an adventure in the Eberron campaign setting. And let's get our references back and remove our text. So we design the thing, we play test it to make sure that it works. And then when it does, we go back through, we make the words smart good, give it to an editor to correct our grammar, we get it back, then we do the page layout to see how the text fits on the page. And once all the text is broken up, we have these holes in the document, and then we fill those holes with artwork, cartography, whatever, images of some sort that we've been designing. This is our 500th episode of this adventure specifically. It's been a monster to build. I'll never recuperate the cost. from having produced this, but I don't do these things necessarily for the money. I mean, it's nice to get paid. It's an easy way for me to measure success by how well things sell, and it does satisfy my sense of compensation for the amount of time that I spend on these things. But I've never created an adventure before, and I've never worked in this format before, and I've never had to pull together the narrative, mechanical, and visual elements all in together to be talking about the same topic on the same page in that concise space. Adventures are a much higher degree of challenge than just like, say, a book of character options, where you can just basically list out ideas alphabetically and just let it flow from page to page, where positioning doesn't really matter that much. Generally, I like whatever the illustration is to be the topic of whatever's on the page. But that topic can spill across multiple pages when you're just dealing like with character options in a game. It's not that important. But with an adventure, you want to make sure that the thing that you're, the map, when you take a map and you break it up, here, hold on, I'll show you guys real quick, because I haven't shown you this in a while. So let me just show you like one of the maps that we've been working on. Here we go. Oops, wrong one. This is a mild tangent, so don't mind me, but let's see, what's a good one? Everything's not working right. Let's open, and let's go to art and production. I've been breaking up the document into smaller and smaller chunks to be able to work on them. Here's one of the, here's one of the maps, one of the sections that I've been working on. Hold on real quick. Catch up. It's more work doing it this way, more format wise, but I'm sure it makes it much more usable for DMs and players and saying that you think of that. Yeah, it's since I'm not bound to the idea of having to print, I can expand my mind about like what's going to be actually useful, what's utilitarian in a digital format. How are people going to actually use it? So that's, yeah. So thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm back at Philtopia where you are, man. What's up? Okay, so again, this is we're going to have a key that runs out. This is still rough, but we're looking at page placement. So what I could do is expand this map out to this border here, and then have the key run underneath here, or I could have it run vertically along the page here. I'm thinking right now, I've been thinking expand this map so it fills in this space. It's not going to leave a lot of room at the bottom for the key, but anyway. So this is what we're talking about. Like this is the gatehouse, and then we look at individual units inside of the gatehouse. The upper citadel is over here. The vertical shaft where all the necrotic fog is coming from underground out of the shaft. And then we have the base camp here. We're depicting the tents. This is a magical device that clears fog from the environment around it, so you can see this like spherical circle that's pushing fog away from the area. Campfire obviously inside here. Large tent, that's the pavilion. So we go on over here, and we have stairs down, which is depicted more on another on another page, but you can see the stairs down here. And then we have the command pavilion. Here's the interior of the command pavilion, where Captain Carl is at with his desk as a token, meeting Captain Carl Follis, and then how you can influence him to potentially gain his help or make an enemy out of him, and then progressing to part 3. So each section is talking about, like, here's cartography on the map where your character is going to come and go from, the people involved. So we're breaking up the segments of the map. Like I need to put like dot 1, dot 2, dot 3, dot 4, sorry, dot 1, dot 2, dot 3, dot 4, dot 5 to sequence like where each of these positions on the map is at. So that's something that we're going through the process of doing right now. But like this is just a little small 3-page snippet. This is the stuff that I do off screen, messing around with the format, messing around with, like, I had to You have no idea how much I had to fuck around with the text to have these things fit in place. Like the dot sequence of like this being this being the first thing that we mentioned, this being the second thing, third thing, fourth thing, fifth thing. That's specifically because of the amount of text that I need to have talking about each section, like each of those areas. And this is the way that we were able to figure out how to get all of them to fit into each individual column and still have space on the page to depict specific portions of the map. So I've been going through this. There's about 70 pages of this, because that's the core of the adventure, going from location to location and fucking around with the things and finding out what's there. That's the bulk of the adventure. That's what adventuring is. Going in, finding out, looking at the conflicts. So most of the time that I'm spending off screen is me figuring out how to make all of this text actually fit onto the page with the maps, and then anything that's left over can be used for illustration. It's like these 3 pages is all I need for this little encampment here, but there's no room for illustrations left over. So so that's an example. So that's the process that we're going through. Yeah, it's involved. It's involved, but it's such a huge design challenge. And then after I finish this, I won't be doing another adventure for a while. That's not true. We're going to be doing Vocath for the Spelljammer setting that Wizards released. We're going to be doing the Battle of Vocath, which is going to be a mini adventure, but it should probably only be like maybe 15, 20 pages. But I won't be getting to that until probably summer next year. But it's on my horizon. So we will be doing another one of these things, and we'll probably adopt this 16:9 format for that as well. I'm really considering converting like the Martial Powers book and the 2024 version of the Color Mana system. I'm really thinking about adopting this 16:9 format for those books as well. I'm not 100% on that yet, but it's certainly something I'm thinking about. I don't know. I don't know what's right. It's good that my life doesn't rely on income from these things, so I can afford to experiment, because this could fail. This could just radically fail, and the format gets rejected, and it's like, well, I can't do that. I mean, I'm not going to reformat the book. Once it's done, it's going to be done. But it's a gamble. There's not a lot of people that do 16:9. It feels right, so I'm trusting the muse. I'm really just trusting her on this one, that she knows what she's talking about, and she insists, yeah, this is the right way to do it. But I don't know if for just general rule books if this is the right way to go or not. I love the canvas space on these. It's so good. It's such a huge canvas. I can put so much information on each page. And it's so easy to read at a distance. It feels like it's a good adaptation for how digital D&D and role-playing games have become in general. I respect that people like print books. There's also the permanency of them. You know, in case the internet dies, you'll still have your role-playing books. Like if the internet dies, it's probably because we're having an apocalypse event, and the likelihood of you having time to play a role-playing game is going to kind of get sidebarred for a little bit while you play, Gamma World in real life for a little while. I want to say, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I swear that in one of the Gamma World adventures, they had random loot that you could find, and that somebody had a vintage set of Dungeons and Dragons books as loot that you find at their in their backpack or whatever. I could be making that up, but I swear I remember that. That feels right-ish enough. Okay, so now what we need to worry about is, yeah, we're gonna let that sit. We're gonna assume that's correct. Here's another tower, and then here's the mirroring tower to that. So what I need to do is make sure that my angles here from this tower to this tower, like this is accurate. I don't know how to do that yet, so we're gonna figure that out. That's next, TM. Would I see that? I don't think so. I don't think this would be. I don't think I would see this tower around the curvature of the building, but I want it to be visible so that. Let's go to our reference. Yeah, no, there's no way we're gonna see it. There's no way we're gonna see it. We'll see it around the edge here for quote unquote reference. There's no way we're gonna be able to see the base of this through the structure. I mean, there's a gap there, but I mean, you know what I mean. Hey, what's up? Hey, Defected. Nerd talk. Gratuity. I came for the art. I stayed because I forgot how to use my hands. Thanks, Defect. You make life better, man. I appreciate you being here. This will eventually be done. I mean, you can see we're making progress every day. We're making progress towards completion. But here's the kicker: when we finish this, we're just gonna make a new one. We're just gonna pick it up. We're just gonna pick up whatever's next and just keep doing that. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, to a certain degree, it really just doesn't matter at all. Like how long it takes for me to finish something. Like this is the thing. This is what we do. I log on. I do artwork. I bullshit with you guys. I talk about stuff that seems relevant. And if it wasn't this book, it'd be a different book, you know? It's just we just keep making stuff, and when it's done, we publish it, and then we just pick up the next book, and we work on that, and whatever the next book inspires conversations about, that's the conversations that we have. But I've made a list. I've made a short list of interesting conversation topics regarding D&D that I may or may not decide to start making a formal video, like a scripted video. Don't get too excited. It'd just be me yabbering at the screen. But thinking about doing little actual like published videos like all the other VTubers do, where I'm talking about something that I feel smart to talk about, that you can just, watch without having to absorb 20 hours of Phil doing artwork to hear some sort of nugget about D&D lore or whatever, like actually making separate videos. Like how to braid plots together, or like how to transition from one campaign to another, or the effects of forced movement on opportunity attacks. Conversation topics like that. I could potentially do something like that. That's being spurred by me seeing new YouTube channels popping up, like in May, and having 5,000 followers at this point. The problem that I have, let me philosophize at you here for a second. The problem that I have is that what we're doing right now, this is the bulk of what I do online. So I know that when I accumulate a follower and they stick around, somebody that subscribes to this, like they can be pretty confident. Like I've been doing this for 3 years, and like this is all my channel has grown, because this is a pretty not like the algorithm doesn't like what I'm doing. It doesn't understand why the hell I'm doing this. It's not a quick growth channel idea at all. It's not explosive like YouTube wants. YouTube wants trends, explosions. It wants virality. It wants to sell content. It wants to sell advertising through people that have explosive growth. This is not explosive growth. So there's an argument to be made that if I did content that was more, that accumulated audience quicker, I would accumulate an audience quicker. And so I could potentially like sell more books, just like YouTube could sell more crap through advertising because more people are watching my video. But the problem then becomes what happens when I run out of stuff to say. Like, how many MCDM videos have you seen in the past 3 months? 2 or 3 maybe? What are they about? Draw steel, maybe a random talking point, but not much going on. He's ran out of shit to say, so he stopped talking. He's still relevant because Matt Colville's a good DM and he's got really good philosophies about stuff. But he's just flat out ran out of shit to talk about. But he built a huge audience when he did it. It's like, there's the argument. It's like, do I want to build is it better for me to build a huge audience so that people that like me for me, because they like the philosophies that I use, are willing to buy my books because they want to support me? Or do I just keep doing what I'm doing the way that I'm doing it, building books because I think they're books that need to be built, and trusting that the audience will eventually show up and click in and hang out? I don't know what the right path is. I know the path of least resistance for me is what I'm literally just doing it right now. So for now, this is the right path. But it doesn't have to stay this way. It could change. But changing would require me to invest a lot more effort and energy into the production of things, and I don't have the bandwidth for that because I want to build more books. You see, see the irony there? Like, if I had more topics of conversation, I could potentially go full time with this, which may or may not be shaky. It would allow me more time in the day to make books like this, so I could produce more books more quickly. But then I would have less time to talk about stuff because I'd be making more books. It's just, there's no end. The algorithm hates art. God, yeah, it does. I don't even get 100 views on even one of my videos. Jeez, yeah, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. Let's see. Having said all that, I'm not attempting to sound like I'm complaining. There to there. And then, yeah, this tower back here, that needs to be lower. Feels right. It's interesting. I only have so much time on this planet, and like, what am I actually trying to do with it? What if I duplicated this? Retransform. Flip. Probably has to be over here, like, oh, that angle. See, now this angle is starting to get wrong. See, I have this angle like this. What a fun challenge. What's up? I must say that I've noticed several new people coming in. Hey, yeah. It's I think it's just a matter of building momentum over time. I gotta say, the Strixhaven sports design stuff that we've been working on, that's pulled a lot more people than I expected it to. Like, sometimes I have 30 people, 40 people watching the Strixhaven Mage Tower PvP system. That's by far more people are watching that contiguously. Is that the right word? Simultaneously than I think I've ever had anything before. It's I don't understand it quite yet, but either there's a lot of interest in Strixhaven and I just don't get it, or there's something about it that's catching people's attention and it's pulling. I don't know where that's coming from. I feel like if I take this and then I could free transform skew. That feels more accurate. But yeah, building that man, I had a lot of fun building that sorcerer yesterday. I'm really looking forward to Thursday night when we get back to just basically designing some athletes. We made a 7th level sorcerer, basically cracked it out in about 45, maybe 50 minutes. I had like maybe 20, 30 minutes of ramp time of gearing up the conversation. But once we actually got into the meat of like making an athlete, it went really quickly. And for a first draft, sorcerer, I love sorcerers. I think they're super cool. B, the mana system that I developed, I love sorcerers, like spell point sorcerers, absolute fucking favorite. Love that. As of all the full casters, spell point sorcerer is by far my favorite. And just the customization, the amount of customization I can do. With using my mana pool through spells, it's fucking crazy. If I were, I think I like Warlock a lot as well. I think those are my two favorites. But holy Hannah, so building, yeah. So we ended up going with the selection of spells that I have. Like when you take damage out of the equation, like when killing stuff isn't your priority. Sorcerer's list of things available to them gets kind of interesting. I wanna... That curve feels pretty good. Where am I at on time? 7:34. I've still got 1 second. How about on time? I got 20 minutes left this morning. What's up? Hey, Kron. I'm here because I noticed we share the same process of creating art. It's uncanny. Nice. Hey, Con. It's good to hear from you, my man. How you do? Let's take this. Let's copy, duplicate the layer. And we're going to flip, free transform, flip horizontal. Slide this here. I'm going to go down, free transform, drop it down. Yeah, I haven't done any character art in a while, but I do have some more character art that I need to do for this adventure. There's some mage rights and alchemists that I don't have portraits for yet. So this process is actually pretty different from how I do character art. That is a very, I won't get into it. Like that's something I'm going to end up wanting to actually like make a character, and that is not what we're doing today. But stick around. I will be getting to more character art in a bit, and I really enjoy the process of creating objects like characters, vehicles, gear. That's a lot of fun. There we go. That's what I want to do. I have to get the point here to align with this hub here, but I also have to get the top of this here to hit the joint there. So is the right answer to slide it over so it hits those points, or is the right answer to leave it where it was and then resize it so it drops down in scale so it hits those points? That's a perspective question that, to be quite frankly, I've been avoiding because boy, let's grab some real dark here. Like what I'm going to do here is I have to come across here like that, right? And then here. Like that's roughly the angle that I think that we're sitting at with this structure. But like this angle here could be completely skewed from this one, so that's not reliable perspective. The perspective on this, it was originally just center point straight on, just flat, left, right, perfect mirror symmetry. But then my muse, she says, no, dude, hold my beer, we can do this better. Let's do it at an angle, because it's gonna look cooler if we have it at an angle. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? She's like, yeah, you wanna do that? I'm like, oh my God, seriously? She's like, yes. All right, baby, that's what we'll do. See, look, that is a completely different angle here than it is here. So, oh my God, what a headache. Girl, do you know what you're doing to me? She knows what she's doing to me. She knows how she's torturing me. She does it on purpose. She does it on purpose. She's like, you got this, dude. You can do this. Are you kidding me? I'm like, oh, come on, man. I am at her mercy. And for those that are new to the channel that don't know, I have a literal Greek muse, an incorporeal presence that sings through my heart as a muse, and she is just, muses don't have bodies, they don't have emotions, they can only feel these things through a human host. If you'll forgive my insanity here, because it is a little insane. But the Greeks knew what I was talking about. So I get fed this inspiration, which we call the muse, right? But I have a really like literal conversation that happens with me. I've had this internal dialogue relationship for so long that it's basically created an actual persona inside myself, which I just call Muse. And she will kick out ideas, and if I follow those ideas and don't question them, it's always right. My intuition, I think everyone's intuition, is always correct. It always takes you to where you're supposed to go. It always lets you do what you're supposed to do. Our challenge as mortals on this plane is, do I have the guts to follow that instinct? Or am I going to question it? And if I question it and I refuse it, I'm not punished. It's just a lost opportunity. That takes time on the wheel to come back around for me to try again. And when it comes back around, our intuition will say, here's that chance. This is your moment. Do you want to take it? And you're like, I don't feel like it's right yet. It's like, okay, opportunity missed. I'm going to put it back on the wheel. Like maybe that love of your life that you didn't have the courage to walk up to and say hi to. Maybe you have one chance every 12 and a half years of that happening. 12 and a half years later, another person pops up. It's like, God damn, that person's setting my heart on fire. Do I have the courage to walk up to them this time? And if I don't, 12 and a half years later, I'll have a chance to do it again. Life is a cycle. And all we are is a bunch of spinning wheels that sometimes a whole bunch of wheels line up to the same point, and that's that synchronicity that we feel, and that is a magical time in our life. But then there's like 30 different wheels that will spin, and they won't line up again for 43 and a half years. And when they all click into place, you're going to know it. It's going to feel like a fucking miracle is in your life. There's quick cycles. There's long cycles. And all of them rotate inside of one cycle, which is your life. Of becoming from spirit and then returning to spirit. Whatever we do in that massive cog, everything else is spinning inside of it. Kind of like a spirograph, right? That's why spirographs are so cool. They help create those mandala effects. Mandala is a visual representation of the cycles that we rotate through in life, which is so awesome. They can, like the Tibetans, they'll complete a mandala and then they blow it and it disappears to represent the art of it, of how temporary all this beauty is. But it's just cycles. It's just, we're running cycles. What was I talking about? Fuck. When I turn off my brain, she gets to run her mouth, and I have no idea what it is that she's talking about. She loves me being on stream like this because the deal that we have is that she'll let the pixels flow through me, and she'll produce all the art that I need. She'll take control. She'll guide my hand. But she also gets to talk about whatever she wants. So from my perspective, there is this entity in heaven that wants to feed information to us. And she's using this fucking stream to do it. Like, why is this the most optimal path? And she's like, no, this is awesome. I'm like, okay. So my job is to shut up and just let her talk through me. And while I do, she gets to push pixels through me. So the more I get the more I let her take control of the conversation, the more she takes control of the pen, the easier it is for me to actually be able to produce the art that I want to produce. But she's doing all the work. I think this angle is good. That's me being crazy. So I mean, that's the insanity. That's my point. That's my point of reference for all the crazy shit that I do, and the ideas that I have, and in my philosophy and my approach to stuff. That's the truth of it. That's where it's all coming from. She's a very hold my beer sort of girl. That feels good. That feels good. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. So I want to have windows here and then here. I want to have windows here. So I need to have bands here to break up the floors. So far, this seems to be working out. Is this the right perspective for that? Not quite. Where are we at on time? 45, 10 minutes left. What's up? We were talking about perspective. Make you fine-tune your guidelines. Yeah, no shit. We're talking about perspective. My cycle is around a 20-year cycle. I met my wife originally online in the early 2000s, lost contact until 2017. Nice, man. Nice. Also does not like to chat, so Phil has to take over for that part. She likes to talk about wisdom and philosophy, but she doesn't like to read chat. Yeah, no shit. She has an agenda. There's a specific protocol that she's following. I don't understand all the mechanics that go into it, but I know that there's certain things that she wants to share. There we go. That feels right. Not quite, Kearney. Let's drop the size on that. Good. That's jointing correctly now. Now I want to curve this a bit more. It's like the spice, man. The pixels must flow. If I think too hard, it gums up the works. You know, like you can't free flow if you're thinking about your money. Not bad. So yeah, the talking is a way for me to get my brain to turn off so that my hand can just do what it needs to do with the pixels. The dexterity is there, but I have to get out of my own way. I think that's probably good enough to... let's go to... Get rid of that. I feel like this needs to be a little bit more of a curve. At some point, it's just instincts. You just gotta let it do. All right, let's take this and that, and now let's skew it just a smidge. Free transform, skew, curve it down just a tig. There, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Okay, great. So we now have the towers in place. We have our base structure in place. That looks okay. That bowling effect looks good there. Our base is good. We have our dome up top. I think I can probably safely pocket all of these together. Into a single piece. All right, we only have a few minutes left, so I'm gonna stop doing architecture. We're gonna get back into shrubbery. With this angle like this, I don't have to worry about having a part in the middle to going to the front door. Like this would be where the front door is at, but we have this foliage, these tree lines here that are blocking it to help reinforce the scale of the structure, plus strengthen the composition by breaking up the geometry of the architecture with a more natural canopy of trees. So now I get to switch gears and play with trees for a little bit because I've been locked up in architecture for too long. I need to release myself from that. So let's grab some of this brush set is on my Patreon channel. There should be a link to my Patreon down below, but these are all the brushes that I use to create art Bob Ross style. So let's grab, I think we were using the Conifer Tips brush initially. Yeah, it feels right. So we're just gonna start working on the foliage here. This is fun, easier, lighter fare. I love, I spent all of 2017 and some of 2018 watching and learning how to produce Bob Ross paintings in Photoshop. I had to develop a bunch of unique brushes, which again, it's on my Patreon. You can grab them for free. Go ahead. But this is how I use them to make trees. I don't like that tree line, actually. I like the idea of this part of the tree line. I don't like what I just did. So I think I'm gonna just cut this one loose. I'm gonna drop it back in here, but let's start at the base here and just first off, let's make sure I've got the right color here. First, I'm just gonna block in all the base here because I don't have to worry about the base too much. I don't want to start dotting in a tree line back here. And I want to have it rise up, kind of like that. So I'm just using, and I'm using a basic Wacom and 202 tablet. It's like a $300 piece of tech. It's a 16. It's like 12 by 9, I think, is the size of it. And then I've got the art pen, which allows me to spin my brush when I spin my stylus. So that allows me to create these little foliage effects here. And since trees are fractals, I can use the same brush at different sizes to be able to replicate the foliage patterns that you'll see on branches. It's the same basic techniques and ideas that Bob uses, but Bob in actual meat space with an actual brush with, 1,000 horsehairs bound into it has a lot more variety, a lot more random patterning and stippling than what I can produce with a brush. So I had to create specific brush because I can't change the brush shape on the fly. I can change its size, I can change its angle, but I can't change the composition of like how the ink splat hits unless I make a unique ink splat for each individual brush. So I had to develop brushes that could create interesting fractal patterns without feeling necessarily like a pattern. So that was the challenge of building that and then utilizing it to be actually be able to produce the effects that I want. Hey, what's up? Yoink! Yeah, for free. Yeah, go ahead and grab them. So these are the tools that I use. You go ahead and use them too. I did. Yeah, it was a thank you gift for me hitting 500 subscribers earlier this year. It was basically, thanks for showing up and supporting my shit. Here, enjoy these tools. Oop, there's another one over here. So you grab the brushes, you grab your canvas, and then if you watch my different paintings, you'll see the process that I go through to be able to produce the results that I have. And just like Bob, you too can. Yan can cook, so can you. Anyone here ever watch Yan can cook on public television? Yan Can Cook would come on typically maybe like an oh shit, there's my timer. All right, that's the bell. It's time for me to log out and go to my day job. That feels too tall. I'm gonna bring that down a bit, like to there. Probably something like that. This is also something Bob can't do, which is rearrange my layers to improve the composition. He would do a painting 4 times before he would actually go on show and do the painting again. So he knew what he was doing every episode, but he had to spend the time building a composition that looked good. I'm doing things live without a net, but I have the advantage of being able to rearrange, erase, and move layers around to make the composition look better. Instead of having to do each painting to figure out what is a good composition, I can just build that composition here on screen with you guys and end up with something that's suitable. So let's do something like that. And then here, here. So yeah, when we get all these trees in here, let's go back to the full screen. When we finish up these trees, like that's a pretty good composition. Like the actual structure is now feels like it's actually settling into the terrain, like it belongs there more. So that feels really good. It also simplifies the amount of architecture I actually have to do. So when I finish these, we'll work on these trees tomorrow morning just for the lulz. Just to get the pixels flowing, but we'll finish the trees and then we'll get back into the architecture here, and we can replicate. Basically, we can create. Oh boy, the curvature is going to be a bitch. But kind of like a Celtic knot, we can build a pattern, and then we can replicate that pattern and curve it, so that we don't have to redraw each little piece of architecture. We can just create a block of architecture that we like, that we can then replicate, like duplicate, and then curve across the surface to make it just fit in. That would be a tool that I would appreciate from AI, of being able to build out, and I think I need to soften this curve, to be able to have a tool that's like, this is the thing, replicate that so it fits inside this curve pattern. Like that's something that AI would be incredibly good at doing, that I would actually accept as as a co-pilot to this process. Like me building a block of architecture here, and say, do that and just replicate it across that pattern. Like I think that's a big ask right now for ye old AI tools. I don't think they can do something like that yet, but I think we're going to get to a point where they can, and that I would say would be a useful piece of tech. But okay, we're going to let that sit here for now. That's where we're at. I am really happy with how this composition is coming along. I think I need to work on the curve here a little bit. We're going to let that sit. She's going to figure it out. But that's where we're at for now. So I'm going to go ahead and cut stream here now. I hope you all have a great day. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning. What's the tower about? This is it's an academy for necromancers. It's called Atur Academy. It's the premier necromancy wizard college in the world of Eberron. The adventure is the adventure that we're illustrating was an artifact was stolen from the archives of Atur Academy that's capable of creating a manifest zone, or a region that pulls, like the plane of negative energy, like the plane of undeath, pulls that plane to Eberron, that's being used to basically produce profit. So your job as characters is to go get that artifact back from the necromancers and return it to Atur Academy. You know, that's one of the plots. There's 6 different plots. But yeah, so we're basically, this is the Atur Academy section of the adventure, talking about like this, if you're hired by Atur Academy to go do this. We had this blank spot on the page. So it's like, well, there's no art for Atur Academy. We're talking about you being hired by Atur Academy. Well, let's do some Atur Academy artwork. That brings us to here. So yeah. Hey, Steve. Again, the only illustration we have of Atur Academy is on this map, and this map was created by Casa Stereo. And here's Casa Stereo. Casa has been creating maps for Eberron for years. Has a ton of great content. The Instagram is Casa Stereo 89, and Casa's Patreon is Patreon/Casa Stereo. I have no affiliation with Casa Stereo. I just recognize good game when I see it. This had the reference that I needed for color and general shape of what Atur Academy would look like. This is literally the only depiction of Atur Academy I've seen anywhere. So we're making use of it. So mad props to Casa for building the map. And we're now taking this, like these mountains here is the stuff that's like in the background here that you can see is there's a mountain range back. I forget the name of the mountain range, but there's a mountain range east of here. So this is facing, like, this is east over here. This is west towards the camera, south, and then north is that way. Anyway, yeah, there you go. So that's it, guys. I gotta bounce out of here. Right on. All right, I'm out of here, guys. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll be back tomorrow night as well to do Strixhaven, Mage Tower, character design for the Mage Tower sport as a D&D combat option. And so yeah, that's it for now. I will see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot.